Good morning, everyone. It's Certified Broadcast Meteorologist Erica Martin. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wake Up with Weather Co-op. That's a mouthful. Welcome to Wake Up with Weather Co-op. So I'm going to be here in the studio for the next couple hours with you, just partaking in all weather stories we're really excited about. Anna is off today, but she will be back by Friday, I believe. She was out in the field yesterday. But we're so excited about all the great stories that are happening across weather. In fact, I think that one of the more intriguing stories happens to be what we're expecting here in SoCal later this week. Heat wave. Yes, a heat wave, guys. It's on its way. Extreme heat, with the exceptions for those of you along the coast, but Southern California is about to get buried essentially under this massive amount of heat. So we have this subtropical moisture air. We also have a ridge that's going to develop and really lock in. So guys, if you're in Southern California, get ready because you are about to feel the heat. So if you don't follow us on Weather Co-op across our platforms, be sure to do so at Weather Co-op on X, on Twitter, on Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course on IG and on Twitch. In fact, we're across a couple of platforms, and yes, that app is on its way. Round 2 of testing. So guys, give us a little bit of grace because it is a lot of work to get those applications to work, but in a way that I feel like it's very user friendly. That's really been my concern as somebody who's done weather for such a long time. I understand the difference between keeping things simple, but also not dumbing things down. I hate that comment and I hate that idea. So we're all about elevating and keeping everybody nice and abreast when it comes to weather, but also keeping it fun. All right, guys, so I hope you're all having a great start to your Wednesday. We are tracking the potential for some severe storms across the East Coast. Very interesting setup over the next couple of days. So it's going to be mainly quiet for those of you across the West Coast. We're seeing a monsoonal influence, though, picking up. And we're also under the influence of the Pacific Northwest of an upper level trough that's just kind of kicking things up in the atmosphere. So very interesting there. If you guys are with us across our platforms at Weather Co-op, you will see our maps. And this is our 3-hour StatRad loop. I did want to remove the atmospheric haze on this one. And for those of you who do follow me, you know I tend to get a little bit technical. I know it's early, early morning on a Wednesday, but guys, you got to roll with me on this because we do want to go a little technical. We want to keep you guys updated on what exactly is happening. And we want to refer to a few things that are a little bit more atmospheric science. It's still fun nonetheless. I think so anyhow. Okay, so we can see here, we can follow this line, this range here across the Midwest there into the Mississippi River Valley. Do you see that there is kind of like this little U, if you will? That's just a sign that we have that cold front that's somewhere around there, right? And we want to track that because of all of the warm, moist air that's affecting the Mid-Atlantic, the East Coast in general, but really the Mid-Atlantic through New England. That's going to be an area of interest for today. Anytime you get a crashing of those air masses, we generally tend to get something a little bit more aggressive. So we will see Storm Prediction Center is as far as the potential for some severe storms today. All right, so once again, we're seeing our 3-hour StatRad loop, and keep in mind that we're not PST, PDT. Somebody didn't change their banners. Me. All right, guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm Certified Broadcast Meteorologist Erica Martin, and we are tracking the weather for you for the next couple of days. But of course, we're starting with our Wednesday morning. You do see some activity moving through portions of the nation, including just smack dab in the middle. So we've got the plain states, right? You will see a pickup in that moisture as far as the overall feel of the atmosphere, but you're also getting a northerly influence there, and that has to do with that cold front that's just beginning to kind of just sweep on by there, bringing behind it that pool of cold air. So no surprise that we're starting to get some storms that are actually getting picked up here on radar. But let's move on over to something I do like, which is real-time. There it is. Real-time query boxes, I think, are always super fun because they do give you an idea of what's happening, again, in real time, and we do want to know what is happening. So we're seeing heat advisories. So once again, actually here, I'm going to go ahead and add my wind particles. That's really important because we I'm going to make sure that we pick everything up here. I think sometimes what I'll do this morning with you guys is I'll add the wind particles, remove them as I see as they're needed, right? Simply because I just think that we could sometimes get inundated with these wind particles or wind vectors, and we just don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do for you is just kind of keep them going off and on throughout the day. Okay, so the area of interest right now is like the architects, not really, because it's really going to be everything behind that frontal boundary. And in fact, I would say that it's really more like the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. But in this case, we're just seeing some activity moving through Equifax, and we're going to track that for you. We do have that heat advisory that has been issued by the National Weather Service. And let's see, this is going to be in effect through 8 p.m. today. And remember, we're in daylight time just because I had CST. That was right with CPT, right? So local time there. So we are seeing the threat for heat indices to pick up to 107 degrees. They very well could be higher, but triple digit heat indices. So a very uncomfortable stretch. And once again, we're going to go back to our StatRad and show you what's happening, kind of a quick and dirty look at everything across the nation. And remember, we are working on global forecasts as well. But I mean, if you guys are interested, you'll have to hop on to one of the other shows that we're doing. But right now, this is all about what's happening across the nation. All right, guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Excuse my finicky hair today. It's growing out and it's doing that flip thing. So I'm really just doing my best to keep it nice and fun and upbeat, but yeah, it's doing its own thing, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so once again, we're looking at that frontal boundary moving on by, and you know what's a really great I think visual is just look at the clouds. You can track everything, because that's when you start to get like the air parcels rising. You get those signature clouds, those cumulus clouds, and then those cumulonimbus clouds, and it just starts to get really fascinating anytime you see that frontal boundary moving on down, and it's just disrupting that tropical or subtropical air. Very, very interesting. And then you can see all the yellows and the reds and the oranges. Those, of course, would be denote the thunderstorm, and those brighter red ones are heavier downpours. And this is just what's being picked up on radar. Oftentimes, what we would want to do in this case, and I may do this in just a few minutes, is I might want to go into one of my products here at Weather Co-op where we can tilt radar a bit and we can use different products, because it's one thing to see to say, okay, well, you know what, this 3-hour StatRad loop is showing us some returns, but it doesn't mean that everything's making it to the ground. Additionally, we're not really going to see that precip, that rainfall rate, which is what we want to see. Okay, so once again, we're moving through portions of the plains. We're moving just across the Mississippi through Arkansas, and we have that frontal boundary that is clashing with that air mass that's just not liking that warm tropical air, guys. So anything that I think that's worth noting, of course, I will bring up. I do think this is going to be a very active day for the Northeast. And let's take a look at our Storm Prediction Center and see what it has to tell us. Let me see. I actually have to switch this out for you quickly. No, this is our 6 to 10 day precip outlook. I'm going to jump right to this one right here. Actually, that's our precip outlook over the next couple of days. If you notice, California, at least Southern California, you guys did have a little strip there. Here we have our Storm Prediction Center outlook for convection, at least for day one, and we're in that 15th percentile for portions of the East Coast. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that even though these probabilities are a little bit lower, maybe they don't seem as enticing to many of you, I still think it's something we have to be aware of, because if I go to another product here, like wind, so here I'm going to a different product, can you see that we're also going to be concerned about winds? So my thing is, I do think we may see some power outage. So if you do have loved ones in that area, the Mid-Atlantic, northward through, actually that's really northern New England as well. The southernmost portion of northern New England, you will want to give them a heads up there, because I do think we'll have some issues. As far as hail goes, we're seeing some for portions of the Rockies, and that was another story. We have some storms that are going to develop in the Rockies. Now, it's only a 5% chance, but still, I always think it's worth noting, because with hail, there's a really great product I use, the Bill product. It shows you the vertically integrated liquid, or the density of any type of droplet. And you want to know if the droplet is very dense, because if it's very dense, well, think about it. how long will this be able to stay on, right? So we want to know things like that. So I'll show you in just one moment, show you what's happening over Denver with our product here at Weather Co-op, guys. And like I told you, this is a little bit more technical this morning. It's actually not too technical, but I do want to give you some more juicy information, some information that I feel like it's one thing to know the weather, but it's another thing for you as the consumer of our Weather Co-op products to really have a great grasp. Morning, how are you guys? How are you? Okay, so back to our overall setup here. We talked about this like batch of storms moving through Arclitect. We talked about that. We're going to add our wind particles to show you what's happening here, how those air masses are just going to be clashing today. I also want to talk about that increase in daily high temperatures across the Pacific Northwest, Intermountain West, really the Great Basin, also the Desert Southwest, and of course, how we're going to get that monsoonal influence. So guys, active weather likely for Southern California this upcoming weekend. Really fun stuff. Okay, so where should we start? Anybody have an idea? Anybody have an idea? Do you guys want to go into thunderstorms? Do you guys want to go into heat? Do you guys want to go into any fire weather concerns? Because right now we have quite a few things going on. We also have a flood watch that looks like it's just been issued. So if you guys have any suggestions as far as what you would like to see right now, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and go from, you know what, let's change things up. Let's go from west to east. Normally I go east to west, right? Let's just go from west to east because there's a little less going on here and it's also not so immediate. But we definitely want to go ahead and focus on this heat. All right. So what we're going to be looking at is what's happening up here. Okay. So and actually I should be going this way. If you're watching me, you would see that I went the wrong direction. You really want to go cyclonic, which is counterclockwise, right? Whenever I'm describing something. So theoretically, if I'm going this way, if I'm saying clockwise circulation, which would look counterclockwise to you, you know it's an area of high pressure. If I'm doing the opposite, you know it's an area of low pressure. All right, so what's happening is that there's a system. So there's something that's happening at the upper levels of the atmosphere, right above the Pacific Northwest, right? So it's not a defined area of low pressure. So we'll reference it as the trough, right? Upper level trough. So now we're talking about higher up. So above 500 millibars. So middle of the atmosphere is 500 millibars. We're going to go higher up. So this is saying, all right, there's something that's really high up in the atmosphere. It's these tend to be like a steering mechanism. When you go that high up, that's what kind of is steering things throughout think of it as like a car that's higher up in the atmosphere. So that above the Pacific Northwest is what's going to be the major weather maker over the next several days for the West Coast. Okay. And then what we're going to see will be the introduction of lows that will affect us. But right now, that's not the big weather story or the big weather maker. It's this upper level trough that's the main kind of puppet master right now. And it's going to continue to start to just really make the atmosphere more enthusiastic for severe weather, if you will. So we're going to watch that very closely. You can actually see some light returns there through Oregon and Washington. Apart from that, if I zoomed on in, the bigger story would include things like air quality, the threat of fire weather, as well as excessive heat watches. And I'll go through each one of those colors for you. But Idaho also seeing some pretty, colorful weather as well. Let me explain very shortly. Okay. Then we're going to go to quick look here at Central Southern California. I think this is really important for the Central Coast. Sundowners. Sundowners are going to be a concern over the next couple of evenings for those of you across the Central Coast. If you live in the area, you're familiar with sundowners. Those happen after sunset, right? Hence the name sundowners. You get compressional heating. And when that heats up, it heats up so fast and it heats up really, really extreme. So the threat of fire weather is there, but it's also going to be very uncomfortably hot. So this is for the Central Coast over the next couple of days, including tonight. You're starting to see those excessive heat watches for the low desert, for again, the coast here in Southern California won't be impacted as far as heat goes, but the Inland Empire, the high desert, that's going to be a problem, right? So something to keep an eye out for. We're also seeing some concerns for Arizona and, of course, Nevada. We can always expect Nevada to get nice and toasty this time of the year, right? So that's what we're going to be watching for you. Let's go ahead and query some of these and give you some updates. Excessive heat watches in effect through Sunday. Friday through Sunday. And here we're talking about the desert Southwest. Additionally, Southern California right now, it looks like it's mainly going to be relegated to the desert, right? So that's to be expected because it's really hot. It's really hot. So we're seeing things like heat indices that could cap out at about 117 degrees for heat index. That is absolutely just something you have to be aware of, especially for areas like Palm Springs. Well, I mean, in general, Arizona, where so many people go to retire, so the elderly community is a lot more prevalent. You want to make sure that your parents, grandparents are really well aware. Okay. Then, like I said, we're going to go back up to the Pacific Northwest. And there you have a fire weather warning that is in effect over, let's see, for fire weather zone 610, East Slopes of Central Oregon Cascades 611, 639, and 640. And let's see when this is in effect for. So it's going to be in effect until, further notice. There you go. So thunderstorm, as you can see there in the green, right? We're not getting any precip rates, but let's see if we can get something. No. Nope. Nothing is making it to the ground right now. Oh, there we go. There is actually something right now. 0.08 of an inch of rain per hour. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom on in the city. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Good morning. I hope you're all enjoying Wake Up with Weather Co-op with Erica. Anna will be here. She's just not here today. She is going to be mainly here next week all on her own, and I'll be calling in. Since undisclosed, actually, it's a disclosed location. I'll be on the East Coast. So, I mean, it's not that fabulous, but okay, let's go ahead and see. Who has 0.08 of an inch? 1/100 of an inch of rain per hour, and that's for, let's see who that is. Mitchell, Oregon. Let's keep on digging. We love digging here. Who else? I hate when this doesn't populate all of my city names. But okay, we've got Mitchell, Pineville, Madras. Let's go ahead and populate one more time. Precip rate. You kind of got to catch it like at a really sweet spot there. 0.08 of an inch of rain per hour. Okay, that's not bad, right? But that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that the concern is the threat of thunderstorms and outflow boundaries, generally speaking, winds. So whenever you have these conditions that are ripe for fire weather to just take off, what you're going to look at are things like any other things that could lead to fire weather, like could a lightning strike cause a fire, and then could a really strong wind gust or an outflow boundary really get that fire going. There's so many things. It just isn't one thing in particular. So this is why we're looking closely at Oregon to see what they have going on there. And you can see populating in the yellow there, crossing state lines into Washington. We've got a little storm cell there. This guy's just moving northward. And let's zoom on in. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Let's see what's happening here. Ooh, how fun. CSI thunderstorms. This is just so interesting. Okay. And then, actually, let's take a look at this here. Excessive heat warning. Yakima. Mabton. All right, so there we go. We've got heat. We've got some moisture. We also have lots of instability. And we have this upper level trough that is impacting the region quite a bit. So, with all that said, we definitely are seeing the potential for fire weather to be a big issue. We're also seeing air quality concerns for Eastern Oregon, for Western Idaho. Let's see, who else? Don't see any air quality concerns for Washington, but we do have fire weather concerns and excessive heat watches that are concerned for those of you in Idaho. Now, everybody else in the Great Basin seems to be okay right now. Now, that's just right now at 7:09 a.m. PDT, right? So that's right now. This is going to be much different over the next couple of hours, especially when you are looking at the potential for fire weather to just take off and to really look at these outflow boundaries that could just produce those wind gusts that would, of course, make any fire, brush fire, wildfire, just take off. It's pretty astounding. All right, so we covered very quickly the Pacific Northwest, portions of the Northern Plains. I mean, there's just not much going on here. You do see that the winds are active, right? So that has to do with that frontal boundary that's well to the southeast of the Northern Plains. But we have that trough that's to the west, and we also have some lows that are just going to start to develop and just ping us across the West Coast, right? So for lack of a better word, ping. Oh, okay, great, guys. Hey, look at this. We just talked about the threat of hail for parts of the Rockies. Ta-da! Mother Nature has delivered. We're going to zoom on in, and it looks like this is the batch that we're going to be watching here, right along Fort Morgan. Oh, yeah. Look at oh my gosh, look at the winds here, guys. So let's go back to our threat for hail. Very quickly, it looks like these would align. Yep, there we go. That really does align quite nicely. So now I'm going to pull up a different product. This is that Ville product I told you that I really like a lot. And oftentimes you won't get this, especially on linear TV. You won't get it just because there's a lot to explain there. But this is something that I'm going to be watching very closely for you. Theoretically, we would want to see something right around here. Which is there we go. Boom, yeah. Here we go, guys. Are you seeing this? So now we're talking about a Ville product, a vertically integrated liquid. And what did I tell you? We wanted to see this because this is the density of any water, of any droplet in particular. And the heavier, the more dense it gets. When you're talking about updraft and the ability for that air to maintain that water droplet up, it's not going to be able to. Eventually, it's going to come back down, and it'll come down most likely in the form of hail. So I always like to use this product, especially with our radar, our Weather Co-op real-time radar, because I like to show you guys what exactly is aligning. So yeah, Fort Morgan, looks like you're getting hail. Oh, hell yeah, you're getting hail. Let's see who else. Wiggins, Hill Rose, Weldona, and anybody else? Can we go down like the street level? Oh yeah, so exactly. Let me see. Goodrich. Can I get another? I might add streets in just one moment, but probably Lamb, Colorado, Mosley, Colorado, Hurley, Wiggins. Like I said. Oh yeah, there's definitely some. Do you see what's happening? Can you actually see the winds? Right, the winds are coming in. So as they converge, they go up because there's really nowhere else for them to go, right? They converge, they go up, they diverge, they come down, outflow boundaries, right? So the opposite of that. So convergence, they're coming in, they're going up. As they continue to go up, it's suspending that water droplet, right? But what happens is over time, it gets really dense, it gets really heavy, and it comes back down. So these areas here would suggest that they're getting hail. I'm pretty confident. I'd be surprised if they're not. I'm pretty confident. All right. I'm going to give myself a 95% confidence, check mark. All right. So that's that. We'll move over to back to where we were before, which was our 2-hour radar loop. And look, on this one, I did say PDT. See, guys, I remember we were PDT. Okay. So we and look at that. And that would really be from the monsoonal influence, right? So you get that monsoonal influence. You're getting all of that like subtropical moisture. This just makes sense for this time of the year. I think in this case, what we're looking at are the potential for people to really get hurt, right? But yeah, let's go back to our excessive heat watch that's happening here in Southern California. Ooh, and look, Anna and I love our small craft advisories because, as I mentioned to you guys, when I was in linear media or news for so long, that was one of the things that for some reason they just never wanted you to talk about. And I'm like, don't hate on people that have boats or yachts. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. If you got one, floss it, but just be safe, of course. So there is a small craft advisory that has been issued, and it's in effect from today until 3 a.m. Friday. Oh yeah, hazardous sea conditions, and this has to do with the aspect of what's looming and moving on down from good old Alaska. Actually, I have Alaska in here. I wanted to make sure that I included her. But I don't think I'm getting, let's see. I don't have it prepared. Let me see if I can pull up another contour. If I can pull up another contour, you guys may be able to see what's happening in Alaska. Oh, let's see. Wait, no. Bear with me. You guys are getting everything in real time. I hope you appreciate this. Okay, so this isn't necessarily... Let's see, this isn't necessarily the best quality, but I think it does a good job. It's currently at 3 kilometers right over Alaska, and we're using the National Digital Forecast Database. Okay, so this is pretty much, this is like a generic suite of products available to the National Weather Service. So I wanted to go ahead and tap into that, and you can actually see a really good blend here of the clouds. Let's see if I can pick something else up here. All right, I'm gonna go back to my other product, my clouds, because we do love all of our products here. We're gonna continue to keep our watches and mornings up, and let's see if we can move to a different product. May not be able to. In the meantime, we may have to sit here for just one moment because we did freeze on live air. That's okay. When that happens, you know what? It gets really good because we can then talk about other things. Okay, guys, once this starts to let itself loose here, it drops it off for just a bit. Once it does, oh, there you go. I'll go back to that. But in the meantime, I did want to share a few things with you guys. So yes, right now we are covering national weather. We do have global forecasts as well. That's going to really be something that you'd have to request if you are interested. We're covering, wow, there's a lot of weather going on, especially overseas. Asia has really fascinating weather right now, so we're going to cover that. And I think we even cover things like climate and sustainability. I don't like to get into the politics of it all, but I'm into science. You guys know I have my MBA in energy and sustainability, so I cover that for you as well. But you'd have to request that because that's just not something that I'm going to do right now in the morning. We do cover everything national, and we just showed you what was happening in Alaska. Let's see if we can get a different product here. There we go. We were having some issues there. All right. Let's go back down. Let's see if we can get a different radar. Let's see what radars we do have available to us. Oh. Do we have it? Is it populating? Let's see, guys. I just pulled up. Oh, I actually have some information for you guys on the tropical systems that are kind of skirting the coast. Okay, guys, sorry, it's a little quiet, right? Dead air. Ooh, well, you're gonna have to work with me. It gets a little tricky. I'm also, you know what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple of like recorded ones that I'll pop in there that just don't have like this dead air. But I just wanted to show you what was happening here. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. I'm gonna take off this contour. Oh, and there we go. You can get a kind of an okay image of what's happening over Alaska. This is a really good idea of what we're going to be getting here across the West Coast, Pacific Northwest. We're going to get storms developing or lows that are developing, and then they're just going to meander their way and move southeastward and make it to the Pacific Northwest onto the West Coast. And then that's going to be what's setting up a very interesting trend, especially for this upcoming weekend. So like we said, it's going to get hotter. Heat indices are going to climb. They're going to get cranked up, if you will. And then we're also going to see potential for some thunderstorms across Southern California. Now, I can't forget. We are sponsored by Riverflow Inc. And what's great about them is they believe in the product that we're doing here, and they've been so fantastic with just working with us. But they also help distress assets. So in conditions like severe weather, they help alleviate the potential for fiscal loss and impact. So you want to reach out to them, riverflowinc.com. Yeah, I'm still messing around with my hair. My hair is all bubbly. So I'm still messing with the hair. All right, guys. So once again, if you're following us on Weather Co-op on all of our platforms, you will see that we have a lot going on as far as weather goes, and we are tracking our national stories. Let's go back and get our contours back on. Let's get our wind particles back on, and let's see what's happening. So on our contours, we have, let's see. We want to see what's happening for, let's see, cloud cover. Definitely get an image here. Let's go global. There we go. We're going to go global with our cloud coverage here. Now, what happens is, so that you know, whenever we go with a global forecast, something at like 25 kilometers, it generally gives us kind of a blobby look. It's not a very organized look. So just so that you know, I can change it for you guys if you want a little bit more of a defined look there, because things like your cumulonimbus incus and calvus and things of that nature, they will not be able to be seen here. Oh, here we go. We just talked about arc attacks. We are now seeing flood watches. If you guys missed us at about 6:45 a.m., we talked about the threat for some strong storms moving through Arcatech. So Arkansas is getting some very interesting weather. And as always, you guys know we're tracking that very closely for you here at Weather Co-op, where weather meets community. So just something that we want to keep an eye on very closely here. And if I go into our, let's see, one of our products here, let's see, reflectivity. Maybe we'll use our 3D reflectivity product here. Very interesting product. Let's see what it shows us. Okay, so now we picked up on a different sweeping radar. Let me see if I can get a radar closer to what's happening in Missouri. Okay, yeah. So we're going to keep that there. We're going to save this. All right. You guys bear with me as we get this. 3D reflectivity. Okay. We've also got to change our position for radar. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. One more time. So you will see that our sweeping radar is currently set to Upton, right? We're going to have to change that, and we're going to have to get something closer to Missouri. So let's find something. Let's find a sweeping radar there, because we want to make sure. Okay, let's see. What do we have in Missouri? What do we have in Arkansas? Oh, here we go. No. It's really tough. Oh, here we go. Let's just see. Let's see what we have in St. Louis. St. Louis. Okay. All right. See. So we're going to take off Upton. We're going to, let's see. All right, so we're going to also change the tilt. So one of the things I told you guys is that you do have to change the tilt on your radar. So sometimes it won't pick something up. Actually, and here we go. Let's see VCP. Give it a second. I know this is like watching Jeopardy, but you've got to do this, because what we want to do is we want to get a better idea of what actually might be making it to the ground. So in this case, we're going to have to go to a sweeping radar, because it would depend on the National Weather Service in the area. I actually think the best one to me as far as the tilt on the radar happens to be Salt Lake City. Give them a shout out. I have to give them a shout out. I actually think the best National Weather Service, in my opinion, and nobody get mad at me, would be Reno. They respond so quickly. Actually, everybody does, but just that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to. And then, but yeah, I do like the tilt that they use in Salt Lake City. Yeah, we're not really getting anything right now. Let's see if we can pick something up here. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at some emails coming in. So, nope, we're not getting that. So let's take that off and let's go back to one of our other products, see if we can get something that would help us get down to the nitty gritty of what's happening in Architects. Technically not. Let's see. Okay, we've got a couple of radars here. All right, let's pick this one up and let's see if we can get one on here. What is going on here? So KLSX is not giving me much right now. Let me try to increase tilt and maybe that'll do it. Guys, I hope you guys are having fun here because this is super fascinating to look at the tilt. Oh, okay, let's see what's coming up. No, we have, oh man, yeah, we're not getting, let's see if we can get this one in Missouri. If not, we have to get a different one. All right, what else do we have? We can pick something in Arkansas because this one's just not, it's not happening right now. Let's see, let's pick a different one in Missouri. We want to see if we indeed do have some heavy rainfall making the ground because they have a flood watch that has been issued. Okay. All right, guys, bear with me as we go through. For the St. Louis, no. It just said no. Okay, here we go. Fort Chaffee. Let's do Fort Chaffee. Let's give it our reflectivity of 1, velocity of 1, correlation coefficient of 1, spectrum width of 1, differential reflectivity of 1, whatever. That should be good enough for us to at least see what's happening. Now, that is if it's up. Okay, St. Louis is now up. We got it. See, guys, I know. Thank you so much for being patient because we do have to wait for these things to just sometimes populate. At Weather Co-op, it's all about doing things in real time. We love to show you everything we're doing and be really transparent. All right. Okie dokie. This is some good stuff here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we have any watches over this. Yes, we do. See if we need this. So again, this is like a puzzle. This is like CSI weather. I always say that. It's just so fascinating. You guys, this is just so, I just love it. And also what I did here, if you're wondering what's happening with the time, I just stopped it. And I'm not sure why I stopped it. I'm just assuming it just stopped at 7, but it's fine. Let's see if I can get it to now. All right, I'm going to get it to now. Or I'm going to do last 30 minutes, okay? Give it a minute. Let it do its thing. Are you seeing how it's picking up, how it's sweeping through, right? All right, here we go. So we're in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know, St. Louis, Missouri. It's always like St. Louis. Like who is it? Oh yeah, like Jason Tatum. He's on the Celtics. He always says St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis. Yeah, so, I mean, but if the local says that, I don't know what else to tell you. Okay. So, we're getting some good stuff right around Mountain Grove, West Plains, Piedmont, Poplar Bluff. Who else? Mountain View, Ava, Thornfield, Elsinore. You guys are always in the mix. Hello to everybody in Elsinore. You guys are always in the mix when it comes to weather. I love forecasting and covering and nowcasting Elsinore. And you guys, everybody's so nice there too. All right, Poplar Bluff, we said already. Williamsville, Greenville, Puxico, Castor, Bloomfield, Sykeston. Some good stuff there. Interesting line of storms. Let's see. We definitely have a flood watch is what that looks like. Intensity TPC. Ooh, flood watch. That's right. That's going to be in effect until 10 a.m. local time. And then on top of that, we have a flash flood warning. So now this is saying we have a radar indicated source. And now we're going to go in and we're going to take off the watches and warnings, and we're just going to take a look at what's being exactly shown here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off, right? I'm going to zoom in, because if we're looking at Doppler indicated, it's definitely going to be one of these right here. Okay, there we go. Here we go. So I'm going to guess this one is one of them right there. Let's wait for it. Okay, wait for that to come by again to sweep. We have our Doppler radar, and we have it set to 1 across the board, including composite reflectivity, correlation coefficient. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Do you see? Okay, so now what we're looking at is going to be who is at the kind of bigger threat for flash flooding, right? So now we've got flash flood warning. On top of that, we have flash flood watch. So it's also saying that this is indicated on Doppler, okay? So when you get those sweeps, when you get the radar return, you're kind of more inclined to see who is likely going to get those heavy downpours really quickly. And so it's very dangerous, and you don't want to be there. And I think it's just one of those things when it comes to flash flood warnings, when it comes to flash flood watches in general, it's always something you want to be aware of. Let's take a look at the temperatures in the area too, because what's wrong with my mouse? My mouse is not. Okay. Kansas City, 73 degrees. Little Rock is at 76. And once again, we have our wind particles set to this as well. I think this is very interesting. Do we have any shearing? Do we have any? I don't see anything else. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go. Echo tops. All right. Very interesting there. So now what we did was I removed the winds and I added echo tops. This is interesting. And I'm going to add our vertically integrated liquid there in the blue. So now we're looking for the threat for any of these to really cause some trouble. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm getting some pings on what's happening in Missouri, in Arkansas as well. So we're going to remove vertically integrated liquid. Okay, so we know that there's a likelihood of seeing some hail, and again, that's my favorite product to use. But in this case, with our echo tub, what we're looking for here is the highest concentration or area for the most precip. Let's zoom on in a little bit and see what we can pick up here. Echo tops. So definitely in along those lines of storms, because if we use our sweeping radar, if we actually just put our radar, oh, there we go. So now what we did, okay, look at this. See what I did? I took off the radar. Again, if you guys aren't following us on our weather co-op platforms, you're not going to see this, and it will all be in the app in one fell swoop. But for right now, I've got to separate these, and then you guys are all getting them on your end, whether it's on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, etc. Okay, so here we have our echo tops, right? Now, I'm going to say, well, that's interesting because these are the areas that are likely to have the most precip, right? So higher, heavier precip indicated by radar. And the reason we're getting this is because we are overlaying our sweeping radar right here. It won't let me do that. Okay, well, we don't need to then. We don't need to put it on there. Oh, good. We're going to go back to our echo top. You can see the brighter oranges and yellows located over Little Rock. We also have some brighter areas over Missouri as well. So it looks like on this particular one, if you give me 1 minute, it's going to let go of, it kind of has a hold of the radars right now. So very interesting setup here. And that's what we're going to be watching for you. So once again, as we let this computer do this thing, it's locked in right now. Okay, as we take a look, as we let that happen, let it do its thing, and we talk about what's happening across the nation. So what I think is interesting is that we are tracking pockets of weather today. It's not like there's one big area that has a particular type of weather. Like sometimes you'll see most of the East Coast highlighted for some storms. That's not the case today. we're seeing concerns for storms across the East Coast. We're also seeing concerns for storms across portions of the Midwest. We're seeing already getting some hail for portions of Colorado. So and the West Coast is getting gearing up for some really hot weather. So it is a lot. There's a lot going on there, guys, and it's just active. Let's see if I can get this for you guys. Nope, it's not letting me do this. Can I click through? All right, that's fair enough. It allowed me to do that. All right. Okay. So in the meantime, while this decides to just allow us to do what it has to do, we're going to attention cloud capacity and alert users. Oh, yeah, we're getting some kind of update that there is an issue. All right, no worries. We're going to get our Futurecast into motion, and you can see we've got a lot of rain moving across the East Coast and across the Midwest and the South. So it's going to be a pretty interesting stretch of weather. And then I actually wanted to go back to see what we had. All right. Okay. Oh, we're definitely locked in there. So guys, with that said, if you are joining us on our Weather Co-op platform, you definitely can see that we've got a little bit of a hiccup here, a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to sign off for just a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead, restart the computer, and I will be back. See, technology. At the end of the day, you're still going to always need humans because technology always does that. That's good news, right? So you always have to have humans. All right, guys, we'll see you in just a bit. Bye. Hi, guys. We'll see you in just a bit. Bye.